Well, the Bricks and Minifigs situation has just escalated further. Joshua Johnson has filed new papers against Reckless Ben. But by filing these papers, he might have just proved that Ben was right all along. If you do like this video, guys, please leave it a like, hype the video, it spreads it out far and wide, subscribe, we're on track for 5,000 subscribers. And apologies if you can hear the fan, it's currently 36 degrees here in the UK. It is boiling, it's sweating, and it's not nice. So this is now the third filing against Reckless Ben. The other ones have been from Bricks and Minifigs, I believe, and this one is from Joshua Johnson himself. Now, the previous two were civil cases and they were approved by the judge, but this one is actually a different judge and this one hasn't even been signed off yet. Now, it looks like Josh keeps putting his own foot in it. He is just making a complete mess of this whole situation. Now, in these papers, Josh only names one person to be a protected party, and that is himself. So he hasn't put his wife and kids in there for some reason, which shows a lot about the person he is, because wasn't this all about people coming to his house, people threatening his kids, his wife, him, and obviously his property? So if that was the case, why are you the only person named as a protected party in this paper? It just shows a lot about the person he is, because he's looking out for himself, he's covering his own back because he knows that he's in the wrong. Josh also labels himself as a victim, which is pretty laughable really, because I don't see any evidence to show he's been a victim in this at all. But one of the funniest parts in this is if Ben and Josh come into an encounter in public by chance, Ben has to remove himself. So one of the funniest parts of this is that if Ben and Josh come into contact by chance when they're out in public, then Ben has to remove himself immediately and get as far away as possible, which I think is just absolutely ridiculous, because we've not seen any threats or violence but towards Josh at all. We've not seen anything of the sort. He hasn't even claimed that that's really happened. So I don't understand why he needs to be away from him. Oh, wait, I do. Because you don't want him to serve you papers, which is how this whole thing started. It also says Ben can only be in court cases he is a named party in. He can't attend any of the others just to watch it, or whatever it is you do when you go to one of these courtrooms if Josh is in the situation. So unless Ben is a named party in that case, he cannot attend any courtrooms that Josh is involved in. And if this does get signed off and that does happen, then Ben will get a Class A misdemeanor, or it could be a 3rd degree felony based on what he's done. But like I said, remember, this has not been approved yet, so there's no sort of thing saying he can't do that right now unless they're already in the other lawsuit, but I think that's only against Bricks and Minifigures and corporate. Now, the best bit of this lawsuit is in the filings it says Ben is legally allowed to serve him court papers. So Ben is legally allowed to serve Josh court papers, and the order only restricts him doing it in person. So basically that's him saying what you tried before you had every right to do. I didn't like it, I cried like a little baby and said it wasn't legal and that you were doing this, that and the other, but now none of that is in place. I don't want him to do it again, so I'm going to try and do this instead. But you're probably wondering, why does this even matter? Well, he's basically admitting what Ben tried to do in the first place was actually all well and good. Like, there's no reason for it to have not been done. The police are pretty corrupt there because they knew that this stuff can be done. There's no reason that Ben couldn't have served him those papers. And when he took them to serve, but when the police officer took them to serve himself, obviously he didn't even give them to him. Like, if you've watched the footage, he just went, oh, you don't want these? So they're all on the same page. They're all in each other's pockets. It just proves the corruption and the lying that has taken place in this whole scenario. But I do believe this could weaken his case a lot, which is great news for Ben. There's also a bit that says Josh is an alleged victim. Like, the word alleged is in there, which I think is brilliant, because he obviously is claiming he's a victim, but he's an alleged victim, which they have no proof of. So at the end of the day, that also weakens their case. But the main point is it's changed his whole story yet again. He's gone from Ben was harassing me, sending people to my door, blah, 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 to Ben wasn't really doing anything wrong. He just wanted to serve me papers. I didn't like it. Now I want to put something in place so we can't do that again. I think he's admitting that he might be getting caught out slightly here, especially after the last video where he lied about everything to the police on camera. And a big shout out to CoffeeZilla for catching him out on that one. one. But like I said, this isn't even signed off yet, so it could be granted, it could be modified, or it could just be straight up rejected. So we'll have to wait and find out. Once there is an update, obviously I will bring that to you guys. But it is a big indication of how everybody is just trying to cover up this massive lie. And at the end of the day, we are all invested in this because we want to see Brian made whole, and he still hasn't been. Brian still doesn't have his Lego, still doesn't have any money. You know, obviously the previous owners, it's come out that they pretty much underpaid him for the stuff. How true that is and how much it was will soon to be revealed, I'm sure. But Brian has never said any of that himself, but I'm sure all the facts will come out. But yeah, it's looking not very good for Mr. Johnson, but hey, it didn't look good in the first place because he just keeps on lying, and he's getting caught out and just wrapping himself up in these lies, and he just can't get out right now. But hopefully this one doesn't go through against Ben. Hopefully the others go away against Ben so we can finally see part 3. I think it might be the most anticipated video on the planet right now because he said it's even worse than part 2. So if that's the case, we need to see this video and hopefully we will see it sometime soon. But like I said, this is about making Brian whole. At the end of the day, it's his collection, his dad's collection that was stolen / not paid for. So we need to get that back. We need to get him the money, and obviously they're trying everything they can to do that, but he still hasn't been made whole. Even though Mr. McNeff said that he was willing to do that, we still haven't seen any of that. We've got no evidence. We've not had anyone come out and say that that's been done. It's just lawsuit, gagging orders, lawsuit, restraining orders. There's just too much going on right now. But yeah, every time there's an update, I'll be bringing you guys a video. But hopefully you guys did enjoy this. Like I said, please leave a like, hype the video, it spreads it far and wide, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.